Baby, when I tell you the red flags were there, first of all, my intuition was telling me, little girl, stay your ass at that school. People in my head was telling me no. You know what? I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Till this day, I felt that Michelle set us up. I feel like Michelle knew what was gonna happen. Next thing you know, we see a second dude pulled up to the house. Why was the house number 911? Hi, beauties. If you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. If you're new to my channel, welcome. And if you have not done so yet, be sure to subscribe to my channel because you're going to love it here. I guarantee you're going to love it here. So make sure you subscribe. Baby, when I tell you I have a story time for you, a story time. So I've been contemplating for a very long time if I should do the story time, only because it's a lot. It is a lot and it is a touchy subject. I decided, why not? I'm going to go ahead and share. It is an experience. It's something that I experienced. It is what it is. So I'm going to share it. And I'm not 100% sure yet if I will be doing more story times. This is my first story time. And when I tell you, baby, when I tell you I have story times for days, I have story time for days, like things that done happen to me. I'm like, baby, like, am I on a show? Am I on prank? Like, I mean, when I say like, pooh, child, your girl been through some stuff. Okay, she been through some stuff. My story times, if I did a series and actually did a story times, it would go berserk. But I don't know. So I'm gonna go ahead and try this one out. Hopefully I can remember everything. Hopefully I do not leave the most important things out. So let's get started because I know you came in for the juice. So let's get started. So as you can tell by the title, this is a story time on how I almost got great. Okay, great. You know, I don't want to use the actual word, but what rhymes with grape that you eat? So this is a story time on how I almost got graped. Not just me, but me and a friend. So this happened so long ago. It happened so long ago. I was in middle school when this happened. I was in middle school and it was the last day. It was the last day of school. I believe we were going into high school, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not 100% sure, but I do remember that it was the last day of school. And there are going to be two characters in this story, and I am going to change the names. So the first character, we are going to call her Gloria, and the second character, we are going to call her Michelle. Okay, so Gloria and Michelle, and Michelle is the one who got us in this situation. Okay, Michelle is the cause for all of this. So last day of school, we're sitting outside. I believe we were at, I don't know what it was, because like I said, it was so long ago, I cannot remember exact. I don't know if it was PE, if you guys remember what PE, I don't even know if they still call it PE, physical education. I believe we were at PE, physical education, and we were outside. We were outside sitting down. You know, it was a nice day, last day of school. Everybody's saying their goodbyes. We're chilling, having a good old time. And Michelle tell me and Gloria that she's gonna go to her man's house. Okay, she's gonna go to her man's house. Mind you, around that time, Michelle, she was on the faster side. She was on the faster side. Me and Gloria, we were more of the good girls. We were still virgins. You know, we weren't doing the do. Okay, we weren't doing the do. And Michelle, she was, although we were all the same age, Michelle, she was very experienced. Okay, very experienced. So Michelle tells us that, you know, she's gonna go to her boyfriend's house, but she doesn't want to go by herself and she wants us to go with her. And me and Gloria looking like, I don't know. We don't know about this. We don't know about this. Mind you, we come from very strict households. Okay, we're all of us, you know, we come from very strict house. Well, okay, not all of us. Michelle, didn't really come from a structured, strict household. However, me and Gloria, we did. Out of all of us, mine was the strictest. Okay, mine was the strictest. So when Michelle suggests that we go with her, we like, no, we don't want them type of problems. We do not want them type of problems because, baby, we got Caribbean family. Okay, I am not trying to get killed. Like, cause, baby, I'm not trying to get killed. I was too afraid of my mother at the time for me to play them type of games. So Michelle is going on, begging us to come with her and blah, blah, blah. Zelazia school, come with her, come with her. So, so finally with a lot of persistence, okay, with her keep going back and forth, begging and begging and begging, me and Gloria decided, okay, we're going to go with her. We're going to go with her because first of all, we ain't trying to have her go by herself. We just felt bad. We didn't want her to go by herself. Although it didn't feel good. Just something about it just didn't feel right. Okay. Something about it did not feel right, but we still went anyways because Michelle was, she was our girl. She was our girl. So we're like, okay, you know what? And it's the last day of school. I mean, what could possibly go wrong? What could possibly go wrong? A lot could possibly go wrong. So I don't know how long after we decided that we were going to go with Michelle, her boo thing. I don't even know if they were in a relationship, if it was just, I don't know what it was. But her boo thing ended up pulling up, and it felt like he pulled up pretty quick. It seemed like as soon as we said yes, he just popped up like a magician. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he was already there and we just didn't know because around that time, baby, we ain't had no cell phone. So it's not like she could have called him and be like, we going, come, So I don't know, but it just felt like he got there really, really quick. So I'm assuming he was already there. I don't know. So her boo thing pull up. So me and Gloria, we get our little backpack and we head on to the car. Mind you, in the back of my mind, I'm just like, girl, you finna get killed. Not from anything that was about to go on. I'm just thinking about what's gonna happen if I get caught. Okay, if I get caught with my mother. Because a lot of people may not know, my mother, she was a single mother because not by choice. My father passed when I was a little girl. So, she raised us on her own. So with that being said, she got really, really strict because I don't know. She got really strict, maybe because she felt like she was doing a job of two parents, a mama and a daddy. So she was really strict. And I want to say before our father passed, she wasn't that strict. I don't remember her being that strict. But when my father passed, baby, she was strict. Okay, very strict. So in the back of my mind, I'm thinking like, man, if I get caught, I'm messed up. I am messed up. This girl, she doesn't have that type of household. Like, she good. If she get caught, it ain't nothing. It's like, okay, whatever. But for me, baby, when I tell you the red flags were there, the red flags were flagging from the moment. First of all, my intuition was telling me, little girl, stay your ass at that school. Little girl, stay your ass at that school. Okay, so that was the first red flag because, the little people in my head was telling me no, but, me trying to be a good friend and, last day of school, what can possibly go wrong? A whole lot. So, baby, when I tell you, the red flags were red flagging from the moment we pulled up to the house. First off, let me tell you one of the first red flags, okay? One of the first red flags when we pulled up to the house, why was the house number 911? Why was the house number 911? Red flag number one. Red flag number one. Okay, that should have been a sign. That should have been me like, okay, God, I think this is a sign. This is a sign that, you should take your little tail back to that school. Okay, whatever. I ignored that red flag. Baby, the second red flag. Why was they neighbor? Why was the neighbor across the street a whole police, a whole popo right across the street? A whole popo is their neighbor. Second red flag. Your house number is 911. You got a police car across the street with 911 on it. Your neighbor is a popo You feel me? I'm just like, but it didn't dawn on me. It didn't. I mean, I seen it. I seen the 911, and I kind of thought about it, but not really. I seen the police car, and I'm just like, not really putting to like now at my grown age, baby. Them would have been signs, and I would have been out. I would have been out. So still with that, we ain't thinking nothing of it, just being young and dumb, not thinking nothing of it, right? Right. So we go in the house. The house is really dimmed, not it wasn't a trap house. It wasn't dirty. It didn't feel weird at first. It did not feel weird at first whatsoever, right? So we get in the house and there's nobody there. Well, there was one person when we get, so instead of going inside from the front, we ended up going towards the back. Why? I don't know. I don't know why we went towards the back. We went towards the back. Well, my friend Michelle, a boo thing, took us to the back. So we went to the back. We got in the house through the kitchen. We walk in. We thought there was nobody there. We were under the impression, well, at least me and Gloria was under the impression that nobody was gonna be in the house except for us and Michelle's boo thing. That's what we thought. So we get in the house, it's pretty quiet. It's clean, quiet, cool, whatever. So as we're walking further in, we see a guy sitting on the couch watching television, real chill, real cool. It wasn't no weird feelings, no nothing like that. He was real cool, real chill, just saying like, he said hello, we said hi, okay, whatever. So then we sat down. So once we sat down watching TV, we still ain't thinking nothing. We still ain't thinking nothing. We're thinking, okay, we're here to support our friend in her thoughtness. We're here just as more support for our friend in her thoughtness. So we're gonna sit out here while she do her thoughtness, her thought business. And then, this dude finna take us back to school or home, whatever, right? So Michelle goes to the back with her boo thing. And me and Gloria, we're sitting down just, again, oblivious to what's about to happen. Oblivious, okay? Because we're young. We're in middle school. We are in middle school, okay? Do you hear me? Middle school, right? So we're oblivious. We don't know what's about to happen. We're sitting down, clueless, innocent, not thinking nothing of it. And you know what? Till this day, I feel that Michelle, I could be wrong, but and even me and Gloria after the fact, we sat down, we talked, and to this day, I felt that Michelle set us up. I feel like Michelle knew what was gonna happen. Maybe, her dude wanted people to come because XYZ. I just feel like they talked about it. We never confronted Michelle and questioned her like, hey, did you know what was gonna happen? Were you clueless to what was gonna happen? But I don't know. It was just something in me. Well, shall I say us? That just felt like Michelle knew what was gonna happen. Again, I'm not 100% sure. And I'm sure maybe after the fact, she regretted because, we were all young. We were all very young. When we're young, we make stupid decisions. We make really, really dumb decisions. But I think Michelle knew. I don't care what nobody say. I think Michelle knew. So fast forward, right? So we sitting down, chilling, watching TV, and the dude that was there when we first got there, he ended up leaving. So and he seemed like he was really, really cool. Seemed like he was real cool. So he ended up leaving. So we like, all right, cool. So now it's just me and Gloria in the front. We sitting down, watching TV. We just chilling. We barely really talking because we in this man house. We just felt a little uncomfortable, but it wasn't anything suspect. It wasn't nothing alarming going on for us to feel some type of way, So shortly after the dude leaves that was there when we first got there, one dude comes in the house, a new person. So I'm just like, okay, who this is, And we sitting down, still being very polite, like hi. Next thing you know, we see a second dude. Okay. Minutes later, we see a third dude. Before we know it, there's a house full of men. Okay. A house full of men. And we sitting down kind of like, Now we getting a, well, I can't say we, I can't really speak for Gloria, because I don't think me and Gloria ever really talked in depth, like as far as like, what were you thinking? This is what I was thinking. I could only go based on what I was thinking. And I started getting a little uncomfortable. It still wasn't alarming, because when they were coming in the house, they didn't act funny. They did not give any like weird energy. Like, it just, they wasn't acting suspicious. They was not acting suspect at all. It's just one came in, then two came in, then three, then four, then five, then six. I lost count. At this point, I lost count. It was too many of them. Too many of them. So I'm like, all right, cool, bet. So we're still sitting down, still not thinking nothing. Again, being young and dumb, still not thinking nothing of it, right? So I don't know how this happened. Mind you, all this time, all these men are coming in the house. Michelle, she's still in the room with her dude doing, doing the do, right? Right. So I don't know how this happened, but I ended up being in the room with one of the guys. I don't know if he called me in the room. So my friend Gloria, she went, well, you know what? I'm lying. So when I went in the room with the dude, again, I cannot recall how I got in the room, what made me go in the room, what he said to make me go in the room. I cannot remember at all. All I remember is I went in a room. I can't remember if because Gloria ended up being in a room with another dude as well. And I can't recall if she went in the room before I did and I just followed suit, and the dude asked me to go in the room and I went with him. I can't remember, but all I remember is me and Gloria ended up being in rooms with these dudes that we did not know from a can of paint. So Gloria is in one. Michelle is doing her little, her little thoughtness. Gloria is in another room. And then I'm in another room with whoever this guy was. So I'm in a room with this guy. We're talking. And I'm not 100% sure what we were talking about. I can't remember, because again, it was so long ago, but we were talking. But at the time, he did not give me weird energy at all. But again, like I said, I was young. So maybe even if he did give me weird energy, I don't know if I would have picked it up. I probably would have, because I kind of felt funny when all the guys started coming in, but I guess that's normal. Like, I mean, who wouldn't have felt funny? So anyway, so I'm in a room with a guy. We're talking. And like I said, like, he seemed really, really cool. So I don't know how long, maybe I felt like I was in there for a little bit, but not too long, right? And he's showing me pictures. I think some of the pictures, he had pictures of his kids, family members. So we just chit-chatting. We chit-chatting it up. Next thing I know, maybe this was about like 30 minutes later. I can't recall. Maybe 30 minutes later. It wasn't right away, but it wasn't a long period of time either. Next thing I know, I hear a loud cry, a very, very loud cry. And I'm just like, that sounds like Gloria. So now I'm just like, what in the world is going on? So I'm like, oh my God, that sounds like Gloria. Like, it sounded like she was crying for help. Like, I've never heard anything like that before. So I'm just like, so I'm trying to leave. I'm trying to get out of the room to go see what's wrong with Gloria. And the dude, he's keeping me from getting out of the room. He's telling me that, you can't leave, she's okay, blah, 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 whatever. So now I'm starting to feel a little, what's going on here? Now I'm like, something is up. Something is up, because why am I telling this guy that I want to leave the room to go to my friend to see if she's okay? And he's kind of trying to convince me to stay in the room as opposed to let me go see what's going on with my friend. So I'm just like, okay, baby, I thought we were cool, but now it's giving like, this is a setup. This is a setup. So I'm like, okay. So he's not being aggressive, but he's being persistent. So I'm just like, okay. In my mind, I'm trying to think like, okay, what can I do? What can I say to get out of this situation? Because I'm like, I don't know how this could turn. So I'm just like, what can I do? What can I say to this dude to allow me to get out this room? So I remember he'll show me pictures of his family, his kids. So, I try to play the little mind game to make him feel bad. So I start talking about his kids. I'm like, oh, how old are your kids? Oh, your kid, so I turn the conversation towards the kids, like I'm trying to like pull at his heartstring, trying to make him feel some type of compassion, trying to think about his kids. Like, baby, would you want somebody to do this to your kids? Would you want somebody to do this to your children? So, and it worked. Whatever I did, whatever I said, it ended up working. So he let me out the room. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm out. I'm out of danger. So I thought, so I get out the room and I think I ended up hearing, no. You know what? I'm lying. So I get out the room and I ended up going to the first room when I got out. I think the room was like on my left. So the room that I was in, it was straight ahead. And then when I get out the room, there was another room on the left side. You walk out a little bit, and then there was room on the left-hand side. So the door is open and I ended up going in the room thinking that, my friend was in there, because I'm like, I know she was in a room as well. I'm 100% sure. Like I said, I don't know how I knew if she went in the room before me. I'm assuming she did, because how would I have known that she was in that room? What would have made me go in that room? So I think I knew that she was in that room. So I ended up going in the room. So when I go in the room, it's a guy in there. And his energy was off. I did not like how he was looking at me. Like, his energy was really, really off. So I'm just like, hey, I heard my friend. Where is she? I thought she was in here. Where is she? This dude looked me in the eye. Okay, he looked me in the eye and he said, y'all ain't going nowhere. Excuse me? He said, y'all ain't going nowhere. I'm like, Lord have mercy, child. In my head, I'm just like, okay, I got out of one room just to go into another lion's den. Okay, and this one is an aggressive one. This one is a hungry one. So, and I'm just like, what do you mean? I'm confused. I'm like, well, what do you mean? I want to go check on my friend. Can I leave? He was like, I said, you ain't going nowhere. Baby, child, I was like, Lord have mercy. What in the world did I put myself into? So I'm still trying to talk to him, trying to plead like, trying to plead to him like, can I leave? He looks me in my eye and he tells me, oh, what y'all thought this was? Y'all think y'all came here and y'all wasn't finna F? I mean, I don't want to say the whole word, but he was like, what y'all think y'all came here for? You think you came here and y'all wasn't finna F? Ain't none of y'all leaving until we. Buddy said, ain't none of y'all leaving until we take turns, until we F. I'm just like, Lord have mercy, Lord have mercy. I was like, what? I'm like, until we do what? Mind you, at this time, baby, I'm still a virgin, okay? I am still a virgin. Gloria is still a virgin. Michelle wasn't a virgin. Michelle, she been there, done that, So me and Gloria, we still virgins. And in my head, I'm like, Lord have mercy. Like, I'm still a virgin. Baby, I'm still a virgin. So you mean to tell me like the first time I finna get a train ran on me? The first time I experienced the grown people thing. The first time I experienced the hoochie coochie, the humping and the first time I busted wide open, they finna take it and they finna run a train. I was like, Lord have mercy. Whew. In my head, I'm still thinking my mama finna kill me. Baby, my mama finna kill me. I ain't even really, yes, I was stressing it, but I was more scared of what my mama was finna do than what these men, monsters, little boys were going to do with us. So I'm just like, oh my God, what did I get myself into? I'm just like, OMG. So then I hear another scream. I hear another loud, agonizing scream. And this is Gloria. But it sounds like it's more towards the front. So I don't know what I did. I do not remember what I did, what I said to this dude to let me out the room. But I eventually got out the room. Again, and this one was an aggressive lion. Okay, he was an aggressive lion. I do not remember what I said, but whatever I said, I was able to get out the room. Mind you, he had no shirt on. He looked like he was ready. Baby, he was ready. So anyway, so I end up getting out of the room and I'm walking towards the front because there's like a little hall and you got to walk, straight ahead. And when you walk straight ahead, there's a living room and then there's the kitchen because we came through the back, through the kitchen. So I'm walking and the house full of men. Full of ninjas. And I'm just like, it just keep getting worse and worse. I'm like, Lord, okay. So I was able to escape the first one, right? I was able to escape the first one. So now I go in. So I was able to escape the first one. I go into another lion's den. This one is a little hungrier than the first one. And I was able to get out of this one. So I'm just like, okay, baby, how many lives do you have? Like, is you a cat? Because cats have 9 lives. How many? So this is, this is number 3. This is number 3. Like, how you finna get out of this one? So my friend, so when I get out, all the dudes, they in the front and they just like looking and they just looking like, baby, they ready. They ready to smash something. And I'm like, you ain't finna smash this. In my head, of course, no, I wasn't finna talk. I'm gonna do all that because baby, no. So they just looking like, like a bunch of predators, and I'm just like, oh my God, like how am I going to get out of this one now? Now it's a room full of them. A room full. So I turn. So there's the living room right here. The front door is right there as well. So there's the living room. The front door is like right there. Right here is the kitchen. There's a little hall right here. The kitchen is right here. And when I turn, I see my friend. I see Gloria. Again, all this is happening and Michelle just thoughting her life away. Okay, Michelle is just thoughting her life away, child. Okay, while we fight for our lives. Okay, all my life I had to fight. That's what I was feeling, baby. I was feeling like all my life I had to fight. So I look to the side and I see Gloria. Gloria is crying. Gloria is boo-hoo crying. And Gloria was like a small little thing, just tiny little thing. I mean, I was a small little thing too at around that time. I was a little small little, but she was extra tiny, okay? So I turn and I see Gloria, and Gloria looked like she was so fearful. Like I could see the fear, the scare in her face. The look on her face, it was like, I ain't never seen no look like that before, but she looked like she was terrified. Like she went through hell. She got out of it and she's still trying to fight to completely get out. Like her face just made me like, oh my God. Like even though all this happened prior to me seeing her, it wasn't until I saw her face, it really, really clicked on me. Like, it's like, it really, really clicked. It really clicked. Like, reality, like, really, really set in when I seen her face. Like, all this time, I'm thinking, okay, okay, boom, this happened. I got out of this situation. Boom, this happened. I got out of this situation as well. But it wasn't until I seen Gloria's face, I realized, oh man, this is real. Like, this is real. We are in some deep-ish. And it is a lot of them. And they're big dudes. They're not like no small little boys. Like we were in middle school. I think these were grown men. If they wasn't grown, they were at least 18 and up. Okay, mind you, we in middle school. We just getting out of middle school. These were some grown men. They were grown. They were not no teens or nothing like that. So I turn and I see Gloria, and Gloria, like I said, Gloria's face made me realize, like, girl, you is F. Like, y'all in some deep-ish. So I see Gloria, so she's standing, right? So Gloria's standing in the front. She's in the kitchen. And in the kitchen, there were some steps. There was a stair. There was like some steps about, I want to say maybe like 5 steps. So you have to go up the steps to get in the house to go through the kitchen. So 5 steps. So she's in front of the door, the kitchen. She's in front. She's begging them to leave. And they're refusing to let her leave. She's crying. She's calling out for me. And I'm standing there kind of like, girl, I'm in this with you. Like, I don't Like, baby, you calling me, but I'm still trying to figure like how. I mean, you a little further than I am. You know, you at the finish line, kind of. You know, I'm still lying here in the middle. So next thing I know, one of the dudes that was close to her, one of the dudes took out his feet. Okay, this man took out his leg. He did. Y'all ever seen a movie? What was it? The movie 3000 or 300? I can't remember the movie. Either 3000 or 300. Child, whatever. That movie. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And remember the dude when he the main character, when he took out his feet and he kicked the crap out of that man? Y'all remember that? Y'all remember that? He took out his feet and he kicked that man in that den. That's how he kicked Gloria from the back. Gloria is in front of the stairs. She's turning kind of like looking at me. I'm looking at her. She's looking at me, but her back is still kind of like facing me, but she's turning looking. And this man, he pick up them big ass feet and he did a whole "tonight we dine in hell" or "tonight we dance in hell," whatever the line goes, whatever that man said in that movie. So he took out his leg, baby, he went boom, boom, kicked her like, and she went down. She fell down to the ground. Okay. I don't think she touched not one step. She fell to the ground crying, boo-hoo, crying. And I'm looking like, what in the world just happened? Did this man just gladiator kick my friend in the back? I mean, the way he kicked her, you would have thought she would have got paralyzed. I mean, that kick was serious. It was a serious kick. So she's on the ground. She's crying. She's going crazy, crying. And now I'm just like, oh my God, what in the world just happened now? And these dudes, they just surrounded me. Okay, at this point, I'm just like, I wish I got kicked out of here. I mean, shit. I mean, it looked like it hurt, but I'm like, baby, can you kick me out how you kicked her out? Because now I'm stuck. Now I am stuck in here with all these men, and I'm just like, how am I gonna get out of this situation? Like, how am I gonna get out of this situation? Like, baby, kick me too. Kick me out of here too. So again, I don't know how I convinced these men that were surrounding me, that were looking like a bunch of tigers and bears, like they're hungry for, like, I don't know how and what I said to them. I said something, but I was telling them, okay, well, but I do remember telling them, can I just go and go check on her? Can I please just go and check on my friend? I just want to make sure she's not hurt. You know, like I'm begging, like, you know, I mean, I wanted to get the heck out of that house. I wanted to get out of that house. Mind you, I wanted to make sure that my friend was good. But baby, at this point, I'm just thinking like how to save myself. Because I'm like, at least she is out. At least she's out the house. And she's still on the ground. She didn't run. She didn't leave. I guess she didn't want to leave me, you know. That's my girl. She didn't want to leave me because, baby, some people would have like, as soon as they got kicked, as soon as they got Gladiator kicked, baby, they would have ran. Okay, but my girl didn't do that. She didn't do that to me. She did not want to leave. Still out there crying, boo-hoo crying. And I'm just telling them, you know, like, I'm trying to convince them, like, you know, just let me go, you know, like, just let me go and let me check on my friend. And I think I told the dude that I was going to come back in. I was like, you know, just please, you know, she's really hurt. You know, let me just go outside and just make sure that my friend is okay. You know, that's all I wanted to do is just make sure she's okay. So then finally, one of them said, okay, cool. I think it was the dude that kicked her. He acted like he was the gatekeeper. He acted like, remember the movie Thor? Idris Elba, remember? And he was like the gatekeeper. I think that's what they called. Baby, he acted like he was the gatekeeper to the door because, okay. So he told me I can go. Mind you, baby, I thought I was finna get Gladiator kicked too, child. I was ready. I was bracing myself because, baby, I thought I was finna get Gladiator kick in my back as soon as I walked towards them stairs. But, you know, I ain't get Gladiator kick, you know? So whatever. So I end up going down the stairs. I go to my friend and I'm like, are you okay? And she's still crying. And I'm like, you're okay? And still crying. And I'm like, we gotta go. Like, I'm like, we got to go. And she doesn't want to leave because our friend Michelle is still in the house, because in our mind, we're thinking like she doesn't know anything. She does not know what's going on, you know? So I'm just like, I I didn't want to leave her either, but I'm like, dude, like, we made it out of this house. We made it out of this house. We need to go. We cannot stay in this backyard while all these freaking wolves are inside. Like, we lucky that we managed to even get out of this house. And you want to wait for Michelle? And I think she said she wanted to go back. I'm not, yeah, I ain't doing it. Michelle gonna have to come on because we in this situation because of Michelle. So she wanted to wait for Michelle. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm like, nope. We're not waiting for Michelle. Michelle is the reason why we in this situation. So we gonna have to go because I don't know how long until these wolves get hungry, until they realize that they done messed up letting us out of this house. I'm like, let's go. So she finally listened to me. So we're leaving the backyard and we're walking out to the front, towards the front. So as we're walking towards the front, we hear Michelle coming outside. So I'm just like, okay, she good then. You know, she good. She came outside, no problem, no nothing. So she come outside like, what happened? What's going on? I'm like, girl, did you not hear all the commotions? Did you not hear us like fighting for our lives? Like, you mean to tell me you just not coming out talking about what's going on? Like, is you for real? But I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. I'm like, they try to, they were trying to, us, they were trying to grape us. They wanted to run a choo-choo train on us, and she's acting nonchalant about it. She's acting really nonchalant about it. I'm just like, you don't sound too concerned. Like, you just, okay, cool, whatever. So we still in front of, why are we still in front of the house? I don't even know why we still in the front of the house instead of like trying to get as far as we can. So, but now that, I don't know if she was stalling us, if she was trying to stall us, because like I said, I feel like she knew what happened. And I don't know if maybe they let her or they had her go outside to talk us back in the house, to convince us to come back in the house, which we were not going to do. So she came out with one shoe. Why she came out with one shoe, I don't know. Again, I don't know if it was a setup so she could have a reason to go back inside the house. So she's like, oh, she need to go back inside the house for her one shoe. And I'm just like, girl, bump that one shoe. We not going back in the house. I'm like, we're not going back inside the house. Forget that one shoe. It is what it is. Let's go. I'm like, let's go. Gloria's on the same tip. She's like, let's go. We need to go. And she's like, oh no, I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving without my shoe. I'm not, like, she was just getting on my nerves. She's getting on my nerves. Baby, the next thing I know. No. You know what? I'm lying. Let me go back. So she's tripping to go back for her shoes. And then we like, girl, no, F them shoes. We need to go. We need to run. Like, we need to go. Like, shoes? I mean, shoes? So anyway, so she stayed behind. And at this point, we like, okay, we can't do too much. We need to make sure we get out of this situation. So me and Gloria, we start walking away from the house. Walking. Next thing we know, we hear a whole commotion. And it's Michelle just talking, yapping. So I'm just like, oh Lord, whatever. So me and Gloria, we're still walking, just trying to get as far away as we can from this house. We're walking, mind our business. Like, you know what? Gloria gonna have to figure this, not Gloria, but Michelle gonna have to figure this out because baby, yeah, Next thing we know, a group of guys, a group of men came out of that house. I feel like the amount of men that came out of that house, I didn't see all of them when I was in the house. I'm like, were they hiding somewhere? Were these men hiding somewhere? Because it looked like it was way more than I saw when I was in the house. When I was in the house, I want to say maybe there was about 5 or 6, maybe. But when they came out, it looked like it was at least 10 to 15 men. Like, it was a lot of men. So they came outside and it was 2 cars. And around the time, like, the Chevys, the Dunks, them long cars with the hydraulics, all that was in style back then. So it was 2 of those cars outside. While all these men, they jumped in the cars, 2 cars full of men, and they start coming trying to follow us. Man, me and Gloria, we started running. We started running. And I think me and Gloria, we ended up cutting. We ended up cutting in these bushes, and they weren't able to see us. They weren't able to see us. So, around this time, we still don't know where Michelle at. Michelle is still back there somewhere. We don't know where she's at. So finally, when we think that the coast is clear, we come back out, and we're still heading towards the direction that we're heading, because that was the way for. I don't even know if that was the way for. We didn't even know where we were at. We honestly didn't even know where we were at this point, but we're just walking, trying. I don't know what we were what we was hoping for, what we thought was going to walk into, but we were just walking and walking, not knowing where we were. Mind you, around that time, like I said, we had no cell phones, no nothing. So we just walking. At this point, we just walking. Okay. So then finally, when we get out the bushes, we ended up seeing Michelle. So Michelle finally caught up to us, and she's just talking. She's just talking because I guess it was something that she had that they wouldn't let her take, or she wanted to get her stuff, and she's just, yapping, running her mouth. And again, looking at it now, I'm like, we left you arguing, going back and forth with these men. Nothing happened to you, but they were still after us, but nothing happened to you. That's why I'm like, she knew about it. She had to have known about it, because ain't no way in heck this girl is still intact. Ain't nothing happened to her. I'm like, ain't no way. So next thing I know, we see the guys coming back. I don't know if they thought we were gone, and maybe when whatever detour, I don't know what they did. I don't know where they went. Maybe they thought they lost us, and then when they realized that there they go, they decided to, okay, well, you know what? We done found them. We found them. So let's go ahead and chasing them hoes again. Let's go ahead and get them. So, and Michelle, she's still in the back. She's still talking while me and Gloria are trying to get away. Michelle is still yapping and running her mouth, just blah, 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 blah. I'm just like, oh my God, like, we're walking fast. We're running. We're trying to get away from them. And they weren't even speeding. They weren't, because we're on foot. We're on foot. Y'all in these cars, like, why y'all not trying to speed, I don't know what they were doing. It's like they were literally acting like animals, praying, just preying on us, just like, how how lions and stuff, like that's what it was giving. Because I'm just thinking to myself, like, why y'all not pushing, the gas? Because y'all could get to us real, pretty fast, pretty easily, so I don't know if they were just having fun taunting us. I don't know. So next thing I know, we hear a scream in back of us. And it is Michelle. It's Michelle. I don't know what happened to Michelle. I don't know if one of them done hit her. We don't know what happened at this point. It was out of our hands. Because I'm like, girl, no, we done told you. Whatever it is, leave it alone. Let's just go, because we're lucky we got this far. Let's just go. Like, you're doing too much. So next thing me and Gloria know, no. So when that scream happened, Michelle ended up running towards us. So now we're all finally together. Okay. We're all finally together, all three of us. Next thing I know, when she's with us, these dudes, they press the gas. They press the gas coming full force at us. Full force. Okay. I'm just like, OMG. So we just started running, baby. I'm a runner. I'm a track star. That's what it was given. It was given. I'm a runner. I'm a track star, baby. I was running for my life. You would think your girl was in the Olympics. Okay. I was running, okay, trying to save my life. I was running. So we ran, and we ended up running until the first yard that we seen. It was a house. I think the house could have been like on our right. The first house that we saw, we ended up making a quick turn, and we ran in the yard. We ran up the stairs, and we just started banging on the door. Banging on the door. So finally, a family came out. They opened the door. It was a black family. They were really nice. You know, they opened the door, like, and they're like, what's going on? What's wrong? You know, at first they were like they looked like they were a little hesitant, like, you know, 3 little black girls knocking and just being very hysterical. Like, you know, they're like, what's going on? So we're telling them, you know, we need help. All these guys, they try to, you know, grape us, and we managed to get away, and they're following us. We just want to get back to school. Please, can you please take us to school? Can you please take us to school? And they're like, okay, calm down. We're going to take you to school. We're going to take you back to school. And it was like, oh my God, thank you. So there was like, okay, we're just going to call the police. And we're like, no, do not call the police. Well, really, me and Gloria. Michelle, she wasn't really saying too much. You know, like I said, she had a type of household where she could pretty much do whatever and not really get into any type of trouble. But me and Gloria, we were like, no, we were begging the people, no, please do not call the police. We're going to get in trouble. Like, our parents are going to kill us. We're going to get in trouble. You can't call the police. They can't know what happened. We're begging. And they tell us, okay, we're not going to call the police. We're going to take you to school. What school you go to? So we tell them what school we go to, and we're waiting. And we're like, okay, well, when are we going to leave? And next thing I know, baby, we hear the popos. We hear, like, we hear the popos. I'm like, Lord, not the popos. You called a popo hoe? You called a popo, baby. I told you, do not call a popo hoe. And you called a popo. I was like, child, we finna die. We finna die. Our parents are going to kill us, okay? They're going to kill. So when we hear the popos, we got spooked, and we're like, why did you call the police? We told you not to call the police. We're gonna get in trouble. So, and they're trying to talk to us like, just wait, like, man, bump this. So we ended up leaving their yard. We ran as fast as we could. Okay, we ran. We were literally Olympics that day. Okay, we ran. And when I tell you, we hearing police, like, it felt like the whole army. It sounded like an army of police surrounding the area. Like, that was the most police I've ever heard. It was so many of them. So we running. We're trying to figure out. And then as we're running, it started pouring down. When I tell you, it started pouring down so hard, you would think we were about to have a storm. You would think we were about to have an actual hurricane. Mind you, we're in Florida, we get hurricanes all the time. But around that time, baby, this was not hurricane season. It was not hurricane season. It started raining. The rain was so freaking hard. I'm like, can it get any worse? First one almost got raped. We escaped. We telling people not to call the popo. They called the popo. We're trying to escape even more, and now it's raining. It is raining. My friend, she's missing one shoe. We are wet. We're soaking wet. We're running, trying to find cover, trying to find somewhere to hide from the police. But then finally, we seen like this little forest, and we ran into the forest. It was like, when I tell you a bunch of trees, it was nothing but trees. Like, it was crazy. It was like some stuff that you would have seen in a movie. It literally was some movie type of stuff. I don't know where this forest came from, but it was literally a forest. It was literally a forest, nothing but trees. Big, tall trees. So we ended up going into this little forest, and we just stood there. We just stayed there, hiding behind these trees, and we're just like, the rain is falling on us. The rain is just falling, and we're just shook, and we're looking like some runaway slaves. Like, baby, it was bad. It was bad. When I tell you, that rain would not stop. Okay, the rain would not stop. It would not go away. And I'm just like, dude, and we're still hearing police. We are still hearing police all around. all around. We're like, how are we gonna get out of this? How are we gonna get home? How are we finna get out of this without the police seeing us? Because even if we end up leaving this bush when the rain stops, it sounds like there's so many police around. Like, how in the world are we going to get out of this without them seeing us? So I don't know how long we stayed there, but I feel like we stayed there for a very long time, maybe about an hour. I want to say we were there for like, if at least it felt like an hour. It felt like an hour. Finally, the rain, started giving up a little bit. It stopped raining a little. It wasn't gone completely, but it kind of stopped a little bit. So once that happened, we didn't really hear the police sirens as much anymore. So we like, okay, we think the coast is clear. I think the coast is clear. Let's try to get back out and try to find the main road so we can find a city bus, so we can take our young behinds home before our parents find out and we get killed. So we get out of the little forest. We get out of the little forest and we ended up finding the main road. Thank God. And it was a familiar place. We're like, okay, now we know where we at. We didn't know at first because of where, the house, we were out away from, the business areas, but we managed to find the main road and we found a gas station. So we were going to wait for the bus, but because the bus stop was too much in the opening, we're like, okay, we don't want to wait out there because I'm pretty sure the people gave our description. So I'm like, okay, let's just try to wait in the inside of the gas station, so that way, because the way the gas station was, we can see when the bus is coming. And while we're talking about the plan, we see a police car and we start hearing police sirens again. So we ran into the gas station, trying not to seem, suspicious to the store owner or whomever. So we run into the gas station, trying not to look suspect. We run into the gas station and we're just like by the window, like we're kind of hiding and stuff, again, trying not to look. We look suspicious, okay? We look very suspect. Wet. I mean, when I tell you, we looked so horrible. It was bad. It was so bad. My hair, it was so bad. So we stayed in the gas station for a little minute, and then finally, we saw the bus. The bus came, and we ended up having to catch 2 buses home. So when I tell you, like, we are soaking wet, look like we just been through some shit and back, soaking wet. So we saw the bus. As soon as we seen the bus, baby, we ran out of that gas station. We jumped in the bus and we were away. We were away from the whole commotion, from everything. And we're so relieved. We're like, oh my God, like we're so relieved at this point. We're so happy. Like, whew, our parents. And again, we're me and Gloria, we're just thinking about our parents, what our parents are going to do if they find out that, one, we technically skipped school, even though it was the last day of school, but we skipped school. Not only did we skip school, we went to someone's house that we did not know. Not only was it somebody that we did not know, but they were men, okay? They were boys, they were men, so we're still thinking about our parents. We're more afraid of what our parents will do to us than we were of what these guys can or would have done to us. Okay, that's how bad it was. So we're on the bus and we just like literally when I tell you we looking like some runaway slaves, it was bad. It was bad. So finally we each got to our destination. We had to catch different buses. So we got to our destination, we got off the bus, and we pretty much all went our separate ways. Just all 3 of us went our separate ways because we were going, different directions, different places or whatever. So thank God I got home before my mom could. So before I got home, before she could, she wasn't able to see me looking all drenched and crazy because she would have been questioning me and I don't know what was going to happen. So I made it home before she did, changed my clothes, freshened up to look, decent or whatever. So, and that was that. So we thought that was the end of it. We just like, okay, thank God nothing happened to us, whatever. So then a few days later, we go to school. A few days later, we go to school. No. I'm lying. It wasn't a few days later because school was over. No, we didn't go back to school. What am I saying? No, we didn't go back to school. Okay, I think school reopened. It's either school reopened or someone that we knew told us this, but I feel like this happened on a school ground. I remember this happening on a school ground. So I don't know. I don't know if it was the last day of school or maybe school reopened and this information was given to us when we went back to school. I can't recall. Like I said, it was so long ago, so I don't know. But anyways, the point is, so we were at school and somebody came up to me and they was like, oh, do you know such and such? I'm just like, yeah. And the person was referring to Michelle's boyfriend at the time. Michelle's boyfriend, whatever he was, I don't know. So the person was like, oh, well, this person is locked up. This person is locked up. They're in prison. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I don't care, because I'm like, in my head, I'm like, only if they knew what these ninjas try to do to us. So I don't really care. But it wasn't done. He wasn't done. So he's still talking. The person is still talking, like, still telling me more info, which at this point, I don't care, because in my mind, I'm like, yeah, I mean, this person, I don't know. Because at one point, I wasn't even sure if the boyfriend knew. I wasn't sure if the boyfriend knew, if Michelle's boyfriend knew, if Michelle knew. I just kind of had a feeling that Michelle knew, but I never really thought about her boyfriend. I don't know how crazy it was for me not to think about her boyfriend, because that was his house, or at least his people's house, because he brought us there. But I never really thought about Michelle's boyfriend. So I'm talking to this person, and this person is telling me, oh, such and such said to somebody that they know, bragging, talking about, oh, we almost graped X, Y, and Z. We almost graped such and such. And I'm like, what? So at that point, it clicked. Everything just made sense. And I'm just like, okay, so you're in prison. I don't know why he was in prison. So you're in prison and you're bragging to people in prison that you almost took two young girls' innocence. You're bragging about it. So that led me to believe, or not believe, it made me realize that you were a part of this all along. You were a part of this. You knew exactly what was going on, what was going to happen. You knew all this because you're bragging about what you were going to do, what you almost did, So I'm just like, wow. We were set up. This was a setup. So after all that happened, I was still cool. I was still cool with Michelle, but the friendship was never really the same. It was never really the same because, like I said, even though I didn't have any proof, in the back of my mind, I felt like she knew what was going to happen. Even if she didn't know what was going to happen, I feel like she still brought us there for their pleasure. Maybe they thought we wouldn't fight and we would be okay with it. Maybe she didn't think that they were going to force themselves on us. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know what she thought, but I just felt, even to this day, I just feel like, like I said, we were young, so I don't hold anything towards Michelle. Like me and Michelle, we don't have a close relationship, but we're fine. Like me and Michelle, we're cool, we're fine. She's still my girl. Like I have no issues with her whatsoever. She's a great person. I mean, she had to learn life's lessons. But overall, like she's generally a good person. She's a good person. I don't really have anything bad to say about her now as adults, because like I said, I'm giving her grace because we were young. She went through a whole lot. So maybe in her mind, she didn't see anything wrong. She didn't see anything wrong with what was going on, what happened, what was going to happen, even if she knew. We came from two different lives. We came from two different lives. So I don't hold anything towards Michelle, but like I said, the friendship was never really the same. We remained friends after, but it was never really the same. Her and Gloria, they were still cool. They were still pretty tight, pretty tight. But yeah, but as far as me and Gloria, it just wasn't the same. It just wasn't the same. And I've always been the type of person, like when you do me wrong, if you do me wrong, you do something to me, like I hold grudges like no other. Okay. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I ain't saying I'm proud of it. Okay. I'm just saying this is something about me. It is a trait. It's something that it is me. Okay, it is me. I'm one of those people. When you do me bad, when you do me harm, if you F me over, I will hold a grudge. I'm not a big forgiver. When you do something wrong to me, I mean, God is still working on me, child. God is still working on me. Don't judge me. Judge your mama. I'm just saying, at least I could admit it. Okay, at least I could admit it. But and I feel like, baby, like I ain't God. Like I ain't gotta forget y'all. I mean, I ain't God. Okay, shoot, I ain't gotta do all that. But I'm working on it. I'm working. So yeah, me and Michelle, like I said, like we're not the closest friends, but if I see her, it's all love. It's all love. Me and Gloria we're still the closest friends, still very, very close, very close. That is my girl. Okay, that is my girl. But yeah, so that is the story on how I almost got raped. And let's just say I never ever went anywhere with Michelle. I never went anywhere with Michelle. I never went anywhere with anyone, if it wasn't an adult. If it was not an adult, especially an adult that I know, family, friend, whomever, yeah, one of my peers, I learned my lesson. I never allowed to put myself in a situation like that again, ever. But that was crazy. And baby, that was nothing but my mama's prayer. Because you know what they say, a mama's prayers ain't nothing to play with. It ain't nothing to play with. Because I'm like, that was nothing but God. That was nothing but God and my mama's heavy prayers. Because the way that house was full of men, full of grown big men, and we managed to get out, we managed to escape. When this man looked me in my eyes and told me, you ain't finna go nowhere. Y'all ain't finna go nowhere until you let all of us, you know what? The man looked me in my eyes and said that, what you think y'all came here for? Like, baby, I don't know. I came here for more support. Why my friend be a thought? That's what I came here for. I came for more support while my friend be a Tatiana. I ain't come to be part of the thoughtness. That's not what I signed up for. What you mean what I came here for? Sir, I'm still a virgin. Okay, my cherry ain't been popped yet, and baby, it ain't finna be popped today. And it ain't finna be popped by a whole bunch of ninjas. Like, we ain't finna do that. Nah. Okay? Cause baby, what? But I am just so thankful, so grateful that, it didn't turn out the way it could have, because I know a lot of stories where a lot of women weren't as fortunate as we were. I've heard stories. I know people personally that been through something similar, and their innocence were taken away. It was taken away. They got taken advantage of, trains, all type of stuff, and it messed them up, mentally into adulthood. I've seen a lot. I've experienced a lot. So I was very fortunate. Like I said, it was nothing but God and my mama's prayers. Nothing but God and my mama's prayers, because that house, I mean, you would just have to have been there to see how this house was, like full of grown men, how this man looked me in my eyes and was just like, he was adamant that you're not going anywhere. He was so serious, straight face. Like I said, I don't know how I was even able to get out of that room. What touched his heart to allow me, to get out of that room? Because the way that man looked, it was like I was looking into the devil's eyes. Okay. I was looking into the devil's eyes. So I do not know how it had to be God himself that touched that man and be like, let this little girl go. Come on now. Like this ain't it. Let this little girl go ahead and go home to her mama, because don't ruin this little girl's innocence. Okay. Don't ruin her innocence. And I don't know what these men had. I mean, ain't no telling. But like I said, I'm very fortunate, because, a lot of women aren't fortunate, and my heart goes out to any woman who has ever been in a situation like this where their story is much different than mine. You know, my heart goes out to them, and I'm just so thankful. I'm just so thankful, so fortunate, because it could have been way worse, way worse. So I thank God. I thank God, thank God, thank God, thank God, thank my mama, because like I said, it could have been worse. It really could have been worse. So I'm thankful that it didn't go as far as it could have. Thank you, God. Thank you, God, because so that is it for this story time. I hope you enjoyed it. I do have a whole lot of things that done happened to me that I can turn into story time. So if you enjoyed this story time, let me know. And if you want more story times, let me know. So maybe I'll start like a little series with my story times, because my friends, people that know me, have told me so many times, like, baby, your life could be a book. Okay, your life, well, things that happened in the past, because I'm living in my soft girl era now. But the things that done happened to me in the past, from relationships, from just everything, they always tell me, like, you could write a book. You could have a movie. The type of things that happen to you, like, you could literally, I'm like, and I sit back, I'm like, you know what, you right, because girl, like, what? Like, the things that done happen, the things that I done experience, I'm just like, whoo, child, the ghetto. But yeah, guys, if you enjoyed this story time, let me know in the comments section. If you want to hear more story times, let me know. I'm not a storyteller, so I don't know. Hopefully I wasn't all over the place with my story. Like I said, it happened a long time ago, a very long time ago. So, certain things, I don't really remember 100%, but the important things I did remember. So I don't think I really left too much out. I don't think I left too much out. So, but like I said, it's my first story time. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, because it is something that I was kind of like struggling with, like, damn, should I say it? Should I tell my little story time? I wasn't sure, but it is what it is. It's my life experience. It happened to me. So, and I wanted to share it. So there you have it. I shared it with you guys. So again, let me know if you want to see more story times, if you want to hear more story times, and I got you. Because baby, your girl got stories for days. Okay, and they're not even the type of stories where I have to add anything in. Because I feel like some people that be doing story times, I feel like they be fabricating their little story time, which is okay. There ain't nothing wrong with that. But my story times be so crazy, where I ain't even gotta lie. I ain't even gotta fabricate and try to make it sound good, because child. But yeah. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And also turn on your post notification bell, so that way when I post another goodie, you'll be the first to know. Like, duh, you'll be the first to know. So turn on your post notification, so when your girl posts another goodie, baby, you'll be the first to know. And that's on Mary Had a Little Lamb. Until the next one, my beauties. Love ya. Bye.